I just logged into my YouTube account and was met with something that I didn't expect. A copyright strike on my channel. Now, this wasn't any type of copyright strike. This was a DMCA takedown. I won't try to get into the legal definition of what that means because I am certainly not a lawyer. But in general, what it means is that someone told YouTube that I used an element in one of my videos that they owned explicit and absolute rights to, and I had used it in my video without permission. The entity that filed this copyright claim? Wondershare Filmora. Now, this wasn't one of my more recent videos where I had voiced my opinions about their licensing policy. This was actually an earlier video where I was teaching people how to use Filmora video editing software. What's even more shocking is this was a Filmora sponsored video that I had made while I was their very first brand ambassador back in March of 2020, showing people how to use the software and spreading awareness of their brand. Now, if you haven't been following this saga, let me quickly bring you up to speed. My name is Daniel Batal. I'm a YouTube content creator, and I was the very first brand ambassador for Filmora video editing software. I am also a Filmora lifetime license holder, 3 of them actually. And I made over 100 videos on my channel showing people how to use the product. Lots of users like me have been using Filmora for 5 or 6 years, if not longer, back from version 7 and 8, by virtue of those lifetime licenses, which allowed us to get access to all the new updates along the way. Now suddenly, Filmora had decided to force those users to pay for the new updates without any prior notification. Most of us found out the hard way by actually installing the new update and seeing a pop-up window telling us that we now needed to pay for that update. I kind of felt like this really wasn't fair to all the people who were their most loyal user base. So unfair, in fact, that I made a couple of videos just like this one explaining to the people who had purchased the license on my recommendation what was going on now. I was hoping that Filmora would actually listen to their community and reconsider their recent policy change regarding the latest update. Instead, they chose to stonewall many of us with a combination of either silence, misinformation, legal jargon, misdirection, or moreover, a repeated message to all users that this was all some big misunderstanding on our part, and we were to blame for not reading the end user license agreement, not from when we purchased our license, but from December of 2018. Unbeknownst to most users, the wording to this EULA had been slowly changed over time in the background, but also worded very differently from what people could expect if they had read the descriptions around the licenses from the Filmora license page of their website. When I posted these videos to YouTube recently, another unexpected thing happened. All of you came together in a resounding voice, echoing the feelings that we all had having paid for these lifetime licenses. Your response to these videos allowed them to reach a very wide audience here on YouTube. What was also shocking was I not only heard from Filmora lifetime license holders, but I heard from people who had no idea who I was, no idea what Filmora was, but were absolutely on the lookout for companies who were doing a very similar thing in changing the licensing structures behind the scenes of the softwares that they had bought into. Well, it seems that your voices have had an impact, but maybe not the one that I was hoping for. I was hoping that Filmora would reconsider their current policy, but it seems that they've decided to come after me personally instead. They've gone ahead and issued their first copyright strike to my channel. And for those of you who may not be aware, any YouTube channel that gets 3 strikes in a 90-day period automatically has their YouTube channel removed from the platform. And when that happens, it's really hard to get your channel back. So a strike of any kind on your channel is a very serious matter. The video that Filmora chose to target was one called Magnify Effect Filmora Effects. A video that was created by me under the strict 12-month brand ambassador deal that Filmora and I had negotiated and was in full effect for the 2020 season. 28 seconds into that video, you can actually see the brand logo asset that Filmora had sent me and told me I needed to incorporate into those videos, and you can actually hear me saying, "I'd like to thank the good people at Filmora for sponsoring this video." That's actually required by the FTC and YouTube compliance regulations for any content that you make on YouTube that has any form of compensation for making that video. As I hope some of you know, During this ongoing situation, I've done my best to try to remain as impartial and respectful as possible under the circumstances. In situations like this, I think maintaining perspective is really important. And to be perfectly fair, I guess there's always a slim chance that someone at the Filmora copyright management team happened to stumble across a video that incorporated some asset that they felt they owned the rights to, infringed on their copyright, didn't know who I was, their very first brand ambassador and highest performing YouTube channel in the Filmora space on the platform, responsible for thousands of Filmora license purchases, and then after having reviewed that entire video, didn't choose the first option of notifying me and giving me 7 days to take down that video, but then went for the more extreme action of signing a legally binding document stating that I had infringed on their copyright and that the video needed to be taken down immediately. I immediately went on to Twitter and I tagged Filmora where I knew they had been following my tweets. They said so in a previous email, and I let them know exactly what I thought of this situation. At the moment, that tweet has over 82,000 views, over 400 likes, over 100 shares, and over 130 comments on it. But you know who hasn't said a peep? Filmora. This copyright strike could actually be removed with a single click of a button if it actually was made in error. But you know who hasn't done that? Filmora. So I want to take a second to repeat exactly what I said on Twitter, but not just for me as a lifetime license holder, but for all of those people who echoed the exact same sentiment regarding your current marketing trajectory. You can't intimidate or bully me, Filmora. You're only making your own company seem more petty and selfish. Stop taking shots at us and come back to the table so that we can all talk about how to fix this situation that clearly isn't working for anyone. Now, if taking down my YouTube channel actually is your goal, as a YouTube channel growth strategies coach, I have to remind all YouTube content creators out there that abuse of the copyright system here on YouTube is a violation of their terms of service and can actually result in having your own channel removed from the platform. I'm really hoping that's not what you're trying to do here, but if it is, all I can say is that you might be able to silence me here on YouTube momentarily, but you'll never be able to silence the millions of current and future Filmora users who are now invested in this conversation. People who are looking to have a real discussion about how to solve this situation and are watching what you do next. We respectfully await your reply. Peace.